me tell y'all something. I'm going to roll with my Knicks. It's a completely emotional decision. I'm going to reiterate and regurgitate the same comments that I've said for weeks. If the New York Knicks get sent home by Donovan Mitchell, the season is a failure. I know everybody's looking at me and thinking it's extreme. I don't care. You cannot lose to Donovan.
The NBA spent years hoping this version of Donovan Mitchell would never exist. Because if it did, the league knew exactly what would happen. Defenses would break. January 26, 2026. The Cleveland Cavaliers faced the Orlando Magic. The final stat line looked unreal. Mitchell dropped 45 points with ruthless efficiency. Every move felt controlled. Every shot felt inevitable. It wasn't just scoring. It was domination. Mitchell is now averaging nearly 30 points per game while sharing the floor with James Harden running point beside him. Cleveland is climbing the Eastern Conference standings, and the entire atmosphere around the franchise feels different. But here's the uncomfortable truth the league had grown used to. For 8 straight years, Donovan Mitchell never made it past the second round of the playoffs. 8 years, 8 springs, ending the same way. The NBA became comfortable with that version of him. Comfortable with the idea that Mitchell was spectacular, explosive, electric, but ultimately containable when it mattered most. That assumption might have been the biggest mistake the league ever made, because the player dominating headlines right now isn't the same Donovan Mitchell who entered the league years ago. This version is sharper, more calculated, and far more dangerous. To understand why teams feared Mitchell from the moment he arrived in the NBA, you have to look at what happens when everything clicks. January 2nd, 2023. Cleveland versus the Chicago Bulls. That night, Mitchell delivered a performance that instantly became legend. 71 points. 71. Only a handful of players in NBA history have ever reached that number. Mitchell became just the 7th player to score 70 or more in a single game. He was also the shortest player ever to do it. Even more remarkable was the most points scored in the league since Kobe Bryant dropped 81 back in 2006. But what truly separated Mitchell's performance from the rest wasn't just the scoring. He also recorded 11 assists. No player in NBA history had ever combined 70 points with 10 assists in the same game. Mitchell didn't just dominate as a scorer. He orchestrated the entire game. In the process, he joined a historic club of players who have reached the 70-point milestone. That list includes legends like Wilt Chamberlain, David Thompson, David Robinson, Elgin Baylor, and Devin Booker. That's the company Mitchell entered. That's the level of talent he has always possessed. And when Mitchell enters the playoffs fully locked in, he becomes a nightmare for opposing defenses. During the 2020 postseason against the Denver Nuggets, Mitchell produced 2 separate 50-point games in the same playoff series. Only 2 players in NBA history had ever done that before, Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson. That is elite company. Even earlier in his career, Mitchell showed flashes of that same playoff brilliance. As a rookie, he scored 171 points across his first 6 postseason games. Only 2 players had ever scored more in their first 6 playoff games, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain. His career playoff scoring average sits above 28 points per game. By any standard, that's elite. Mitchell's offensive arsenal has never been limited. He can bury step-back threes from well beyond the arc. He can rise up from mid-range daggers over extended defenders. He can explode to the rim and finish through heavy contact. And when a moment demands it, he has shown the clutch scoring instincts that define the NBA's most feared closers. By the age of 29, Mitchell had already been selected to 7 All-Star teams. In 2025, he earned first-team All-NBA honors, joining Cavaliers legends like LeBron James and Mark Price as the only players in franchise history to achieve that recognition. Statistically, he's producing at the highest level of his career, nearly 29 points per game, around 6 assists, almost 5 rebounds, efficiency hovering near 49% from the field and close to 38% from three-point range. High volume, high efficiency, the exact combination that destroys defensive game plans. The league has always known the nightmare scenario. If Donovan Mitchell ever figured out how to dominate consistently when everything was on the line, there would be no defensive solution, no scheme, no adjustment, just a problem that couldn't be solved. But Mitchell had one obstacle he couldn't escape, a ceiling that followed him every spring. For 8 straight years, he ran into the same barrier, and the league began to believe that barrier defined him. 8 consecutive playoff appearances, 8 consecutive failures to reach the conference finals. Every year, the ending looked different. Different teammates, different opponents, different storylines. Same result, In 2021 with the Utah Jazz, Mitchell helped lead the team to the best record in the Western Conference. He dominated early in the playoffs. But when the Los Angeles Clippers adjusted defensively, Utah collapsed in 6 games. Another early exit. In Cleveland, the expectations returned. For the first time since LeBron James left the franchise, the Cavaliers returned to the playoffs with Mitchell leading the way. It was historic, meaningful, but it still ended with a second-round exit. Then came 2025, the season that was supposed to change everything. Cleveland finished with a stunning 64-18 record, the best mark in the Eastern Conference, the best Cavaliers record since the late 2000s. Mitchell finished 5th in MVP voting. Evan Mobley won Defensive Player of the Year. Head coach Kenny Atkinson was named Coach of the Year. Cleveland swept the Miami Heat in the first round. They looked dominant, confident, ready for a championship run. Then the Indiana Pacers happened. Indiana dismantled Cleveland in just 5 games. 3 of those losses came at home. The Cavaliers became only the 4th team in NBA history to win 64 games and still fail to reach the conference finals. The criticism arrived immediately. Analysts questioned whether Mitchell could truly lead a championship team. His high playoff usage rate became a major talking point. Was he controlling the ball too much in the most important moments? Was he making the right decisions under pressure? The narrative hardened. Brilliant scorer, but flawed leader. Talented superstar, but not a championship closer. Mitchell heard every word. After the loss to Indiana, he admitted publicly that the defeat crushed him. Not disappointed, crushed. He spent weeks replaying the series in his mind, watching the game film repeatedly, trying to understand what went wrong. The weight of 8 playoff disappointments followed him everywhere. At some point, patterns stopped looking like bad luck. They start looking like identity. That was the belief around the league. And for a moment, it seemed like Mitchell might believe it too. But something changed during the summer of 2025. Something inside him sharpened. The criticism didn't break him. It focused him. While the rest of the league enjoyed the offseason, Mitchell disappeared into the gym. No noise, no distractions, just work. He sent a message to his teammates. One more rep, one more step. That was the mindset. When training camp opened, the difference was obvious. Teammates saw it immediately. This wasn't the same Mitchell who walked off the court months earlier. This version was calmer, focused, relentless, and when the season began, the results followed. His scoring jumped above 30 points per game. His efficiency improved. His three-point shooting climbed. Mitchell wasn't just scoring more. He was controlling games. Then, on February 4th, 2026, everything changed. The trade deadline. Cleveland made a move that stunned the NBA. They traded Darius Garland and a second-round pick to the Los Angeles Clippers. In return, they acquired James Harden, a former MVP, an 11-time All-Star, one of the greatest playmakers the game has ever seen. The message was clear. Cleveland believed in Mitchell completely. Harden transformed the offense overnight. Elite pick-and-roll creation, precision passing, the ability to break down defenses and generate open shots for teammates. For years, Mitchell carried both the scoring load and the playmaking responsibilities. Now Harden orchestrates the offense. Mitchell attacks. The result is one of the most dangerous offensive duos in the NBA. 2 players capable of creating offense from anywhere on the floor. 2 players demanding constant defensive attention. The early results were immediate. Cleveland won Harden's first 4 games with the team. Mitchell continued scoring at an elite level, but with better spacing and less pressure. The Cavaliers climbed near the top of the Eastern Conference standings. And for the first time in years, Mitchell spoke openly about the moment in front of him. Not pressure, urgency, because he understands something few players ever admit. Championship windows don't stay open forever. Right now, Mitchell has everything he needs. An MVP-level playmaker beside him. A defensive player of the year anchoring the defense. Elite rim protection. A championship-level coach. A front office willing to gamble for a title. Every excuse has been removed. Every criticism answered. For years, the NBA hoped Donovan Mitchell would remain incomplete. A superstar who dazzled in highlights but fell short in May. That hope is fading fast. Mitchell is now 29 years old. 7-time All-Star. One of only 7 players in NBA history to score 70 points in a game. This isn't the decline phase of his career. This is the peak. And for the first time, every piece around him fits. Donovan Mitchell has never reached the conference finals. James Harden hasn't reached the finals with his current teams. Both players understand what this season represents. This is the opportunity, the window, the moment. For 8 years, the NBA believed Mitchell had a ceiling. Now the league might be discovering something terrifying. There was never a ceiling at all. And the scariest part? Donovan Mitchell might just be getting started. Fire basketball.